Hey there, Aries. This is Joy with Joy of the World, here to take an intuitive peek into the energies around you. I'm glad to have you here, scribes, if you're returning. And if you're new to our channel, make sure you click the subscribe button. And you can also ring that bell out beside it, and you'll be notified anytime I post new videos. Also, if you find that you like the content that we provide here, make sure you give us a big thumbs up and share with your loved ones, okay? So Aries, you were pretty eager to come on in because, as you may or may not be able to tell, the sun is definitely going down. I am in a foreign location, which is not at my house, because I am out of town having some brain therapy, trying to get this brain injury all healed up once and for all, so we can move forward pain-free and enjoy this beautiful world that we have to live in. But you were like, get it out there for me, Joy. Now, I will remind you, if you see me swatting about, I'm not going crazy. We have these crazy winged creatures here in Alabama called mosquitoes that have been visiting me quite often. And that's why you can also see my hair is quite voluminous as per the humidity. So enough of that tune in and checking in here. We're going to see what's going on with you guys. And I will tell you, we're stepping into victory. Look at this. I see her leaning in, like taking a deep breath, really being wooed in, refreshed. It's like at the end of a long day, really having a ritual or routine that helps you shift points from where you've been working or what you've been tuned into to being able to relax and unwind, let the mind unbend, like Horace says. Now, underneath that victory, that wooing, that taking in the fragrance of life, look at her. We have listen. And so that's taking us from one sense of smell, right, dipping down into listening. And this listening, I see it coming even more deeply from the heart, right? Being able to tune in and conjure up remembrances, like really shifting that mind into the things that bring you personal delight, being able to call in those energies. It's not even just things that you do, it's your mind frame, it's what you think about. Amazing. And also, before you go to sleep, instead of going over what you have to do or things that happen during the day, it's kind of like do a time warp, a time track back, and think through things that are very heartwarming. Like earlier when I was creating another video, I could smell honeysuckle trickling on the hot afternoon breeze, and I thought, oh, how wondrous. And I just had to pause for a moment and drink that in, because honeysuckle colored my days as a young girl in Mississippi, and it was always heartwarming, not tied to any specific occurrence type memory, but more of a sensory perception of taking me back in time to things being simpler, right? Okay, interesting. Being simpler. So we have a piggyback from something coming before. Number 13, liberation. Free yourself. Get rid of these old ghosts, these old things that have been lingering around. And for some of you, I'm seeing specifically, get rid of some old sheets. Now, if there was an old lover that used to be in that bed, it might be time for those sheets to move on, because you're still slipping into an old mindset, an old energy pattern that we don't even realize, because it's not coming up in the eyes, remember? It's coming up in other senses. It's coming in through the layers, and you're not even aware of it. But it can be other things like that beyond just the sheets, of course. It can be relics and things left around from previous times that maybe generate some not so lovely remembrances. And I don't mean just specific images, but like those things that kind of creep up from the inside that trigger your heart and can bring up sorrow, melancholy, disruptive type energies. And it might not be tied to any specific person, but it can be tied to previous times in life, and maybe even a time that you were sick or had, or like for me, that brain injury that has been very pervasive and long-standing. How do I bring in a new, fresh energy and shed those old energies, right? So next to it, we've already had a Mary L. Tarot jump in. Take a look. And it came in upside down. I don't have inversions in the deck, but when I shuffle, everything's welcome to come out in the way it wants to speak, right? But that way I keep the energies fresh for each sign's read, and not based on the energy of a previous zodiac. That's why I do it. But anyways, here we have the Ace of Swords. And you can see this binding. Well, let's turn it right side up so you can take a minute. The mighty eagle, the one who can see from the highest heights. They see with that third eye, with the pineal gland, with that intelligence and that beauty and that reverence, the layering of the wisdom coming in, and you're bound. You're bound, not just able to fly like the wings are free here. Your feet, you're not able to land. So if you're not able to land, you're not able to bring in what it is that you're about, is what you're telling me. Your procreative power, because you see the sun in the belly, here it's presenting like a golden egg. Okay, so we're wanting to do a little magic, huh, Aries? We're wanting to bring in some new energy, which would make sense because you have a lot dancing in your chart right now. You have so much going on. In Aries, we have Chiron, we have Mars, and we also have Lilith going on right there, right now. So it's talking about bringing forth seeds from the dark into the light, regenerating power, moving past the need to be healed and stepping into that creatorship and creativity. Huh. They want me to look at the rune cards right now that I've shuffled out. So, crushed. Continuity counts, but in this case it came in this way. So it's about still remain open. It might be a little hard, it might be a little heavy, it might feel a little constrictive like this, but trust yourself, because you may be bound here and here, but the part that counts is wide open. It's like you may not be able to land it at this moment, but this beacon, this lighthouse is calling out, and it's saying it's calling the shore to you. What is that? That is magic if I ever heard of it. It's calling shore to you. Keep calling. Keep letting the signal come through loud and clear. Okay, Aries? So what do we have here? We have the warrior. We have the will of heaven. We have patience. We have deep dive, molding character, and timely relationship. You are right on time. There's not going to be any crashing about on these shores. These dreams are coming in for sure. That is right. It's the will of heaven. Guaranteed. You fought long and hard to get here. That's why these walls are kind of weakened and you're a little bit trembling, weak in the knees, right? Like, how is this going to happen? How is this going to happen? You've only gotten more bound, more stuck, and wondering about how your willpower, how your intelligence could bring this in. But that's when we step into this. The number one, the sun. You're saying divine in your own deliciousness, because look at this. It's a fish out of water, but that lets us know that everything even around you, it's not just what's in you. This beacon is changing the environment around you. It's becoming plasma state. Remember, plasma state to me is kind of like the amnios, the amniotic fluid. When we're in the belly, we're in that state where we're breathing water, and plasma is the fourth state of matter. It's kind of like the waters of the universe. It is the amnios, it is the creativity. It's kind of like if you imagine a whale, how they drink in the plankton, they take mouthfuls of water, and then they sift the water back out into the environment around them and retain the seed, the nourishment, the plankton. That's kind of what you're doing here. You're getting your nourishment from the environment around you, even though it can seem a little restricted and constrictive at this time, because they are wanting your magic, your off-gassing. They're kind of saying like your solarness, your radiation, to shine off into the environment right around you. And you have another inversion coming in, so it's interesting. Let's take a look. But it's a number one under the number one, day and night. This is who you are and what you're in now, non-stop. It is going round the clock. Interesting. Well, that's telling me it's pure perfection. And nowhere are you separated from yourself. Don't worry. You're right on point. Keep going. Look at this. There's that off-gassing. Look, you hold the sun in your hands. And the moon, because the moon is the mind, right? Okay? The sun is how we see things. The moon is what we reflect on when we sleep. So night and day, you're on the same page with yourself. And this magic is coming off into the universe, into the environment around you. And let's see what it's making up under here. Up under it, we have number 14, Lovaria. Let love grow. There's the bubbles. Look at it rising up. It's like these dreams, these birth children. There's this artist called Akian, and she often draws things within the bubbles moving in the environment around her. And I'd never known what those were, but now I'm seeing it. It's kind of like along with the amnios. They're saying there's life in the death that you have experienced. The new love. It's taking me to The Nightmare Before Christmas, if you haven't seen that. It is, okay, so Jack, he's a skeleton, right? And so he's like, Halloween land could be so depressing. We ought to be chipper and cheerful like Christmas land. Let's become the new Christmas land. And he lost sight of who he really was, right? Okay, so here it's remembering, keeping sight of who you really are. Like here, you are powerful and you're mighty. If you focus on the restraints and the constraints, that might, that this is going to like seal and cover like that. You're going to lose sight of who you are. And they're saying that's what the magic is here. Keeping sight of who you are, keep going, keep going, keep going. And that's drawing this, letting the love grow, letting it in, letting the connection happen. And it's not based on how others see you. It's based on how you see yourself. So speak to your dry bones. Call your dreams in. Call them into you. That beacon, that lighthouse. Keep going. Just keep rowing, okay? Oh, I love it, because next is the 5 of discs. Look, the whole world in your heart. And this is, I see Jupiter and Pluto getting on the same page here. I'm not quite sure what's going on with Jupiter and Pluto right now, but it's very obvious is working to your advantage. It is your heartbeat coming in to keep things going, to keep things growing when you didn't think you could. This is like your ancients. I hear like your Methuselah coming on in. It's your ancient connection to light. Don't be afraid. I say once bitten, twice shy. They say no more. You're going to step into that boldness. You're going to power forward. And this isn't motion, right? And it isn't emotion. It's about standing true to your feelings. And look at the joy on his face. Can you see it? The satisfaction, the looking down and knowing that you didn't give up on yourself, that you still carry that love in your heart, first and foremost for yourself and who you are, like Jack Skelton, right? Possessing the power of who you are, being beautiful and magnificent and perfect for the world that you live in. Interesting. Okay, we're going to the next channel. It's 33. Super dynamic, creative power. It's the door to romance. Your heart is open to love here, but it's being open to the opening of that love. Like being fully exposed to it and allowing the love in, letting it come into your world. And that's what you almost felt like, that like there was something wrong with your world, like it had to be altered or changed. Aries, let me tell you, who you are is divine and perfect exactly as you are. Your gut instincts, your impulsivity, that pulse of life, you're really on it and you're on point. And yes, yeah, you learned from a few things, but man, you're a magic maker. You stir things up. You're the dream weaver. You step into people's worlds and you come in alongside others. That's amazing and fantastic. It's telling you this time to allow that energy to come in alongside yourself. And that's what is happening here. They're saying it's finally time for you to do for yourself what you've done for others. And I hear with this card, look what's coming in under this. We have number 32, touch the sky. They say, get up on this. So they're saying, I am up above it. Come up above and be your own lifeline. Come rescue me. Rescue yourself. Rapunzel, let your hair down. Step into this world that you've kept yourself separated from for so long, thinking it needed to be fixed, mended, or something happening to it, when really there's nothing going on there. There's nothing going on there. It's fully this dream, this coming alive, this awakening going on. And that leads to number 22. It's not a duality. It's like a meeting of the minds of coming on the same page with yourself, finding others who are like you, that like-mindedness. When you are in tune and in touch with your world, it draws that environment around you and it synchronizes, is what they say. It says, honor your mystical creative force. Look at that. Hopefully y'all can still see with the light going down now. Okay? It might be a little blood stain, but that's your blood. That's your anointing. That's your power. That's your might. That's your right. But that's what I know about life. It is the magic of the red magic, which is the blood, sweat, and tears, combined with the white magic, which is your hopes, dreams, and fears. When you hope beyond hope and you kept going no matter what, when you kept believing in love above all, that is what has brought in this magical mystery of what? The Knight of Discs. The white tiger. The mystical magic white tiger. The thing that shouldn't be, but that is. It's like, kind of like you could say the taming of the dragon. What was it? Was it Swiss Family Robinson, where he's like, I got me a tiger. Not the least bit of fear here. None. All garnered with your tree of life, living in your environment, so happy and free, because things that could intimidate or scare others don't intimidate or scare you. And that's the unique thing about the surrender. Remember, others will be joining your world because their world is like your world. And these worlds, like cells in our body, are grouping together, like spleen cells live together in the spleen, right? And intestine cells live together there, and heart cells and such, right? So there's going to be Aries cells coming together, people that have an affinity for that instinct, that action, that power, that pulse of life. You know, and then that brings in these credit cards, right? These are some homemade cards, and they love to call them credit cards. Fat with dew, the dripping of life. And it's got a big old straw here for you to suck it up, buttercup. And that doesn't mean the old way of sucking it up and dredging through. No, it means put a straw in and take a sip of your wonderfulness. I love that. Aries, this has been fantastic going on this amazing journey with you through your energy around. I hope this serves as encouragement and fuel for your fire to remember that you are awesome and divine, and who you are is perfect. Okay? Let me get it. It's perfect. It's all coming together. Keep with it. Trust yourself. And live in this amazing world, and that we get to enjoy it too as you bring it in. Thank you so much. This is Joy. See you soon.